It was obviously not a match made in heaven. How did a couple that seemed so right for each other end up so wrong?
It's a good question. Their divorce made headlines when it turned ugly in a unique way. This is a battle over their daughter that has become literally a holy war. When Joseph Reyes and Rebecca Shapiro first met at a gym in Chicago, it was a knockout. So, what did you think when you first met this female boxer?
This is a woman that I have something to talk to about. There was a happiness about her. There was a glow about her, all of which I found very attractive.
I thought he was fantastic from the moment that I met him, and I loved how he challenged me intellectually. I thought he was great.
Sparring turned to dating, and the two became very close. Did you always know that he was the one when you were dating?
Yes, I did. I loved him very much.
The romance also had an element of mystery. Joseph was a military man who said he would be leaving soon for Afghanistan, but he couldn't tell Rebecca what he did. He said his mission was top secret. Still, the one thing he could tell her before he shipped off to war was all she needed to know.
I let her know that she was the one, that I wanted to spend the rest of my life with her, that I wanted a family with her, and I gave her the ring. I popped the question. I had something to make my way back to the States for.
6 months later, Joseph returned home to resume his storybook romance and make Rebecca his bride. But he says there was a problem: her parents.
They were really, really overbearing, and I think a lot of what really got in the way was that I was a non-Jew at that point in time. And
anybody ever say anything to you?
Yes. Rebecca's mother said that on paper you're not who we would choose for Rebecca, and the first thing she cited thereafter was you're not Jewish. And all we really wanted to do was be married and live happily ever after.
Happily ever after would be harder than it seemed. Joseph was Catholic, Rebecca Jewish. While both say they were open-minded about religion, their traditional Jewish wedding in the fall of 2004 was a sign of things to come.
A couple days before the actual ceremony, we signed the Jewish marriage contract, and then we had this beautiful Jewish wedding with the chuppah and the breaking of the glass. And it was magical. I had that death-defying moment where I thought they were going to catapult me from the chair afterwards because all my cousins had been drinking, and I thought this is going to be tragic, but it was a perfect day.
Being back with Rebecca and actually getting to build a life together was great.
But not for long. Joseph's career was floundering. He went from one job to another. Rebecca, an up-and-coming lawyer, became disenchanted.
He just walked away from a series of things without considering the amount of money that I had asked from my parents to support us, and that was really difficult. And then all of a sudden, the entire financial burden was on me.
During this dark time came a blessing, little Ayla, born in November 2006. What does your daughter mean to you?
Everything. She's the nucleus of everything I do.
But for all the joy she brought, the decisions on how to parent her would also bring a lot of pain.
We had pledged in the marriage contract to raise Jewish children, and so we had a Jewish home.
Religion, something that Joseph says had been an afterthought, now with the marriage in trouble, became a battleground. Did you have an agreement going into the marriage that your child would be raised Jewish?
No.
Rebecca counters with a simple question. If that were true, why did Joseph convert to Judaism?
The reason I converted was because of the enormous amount of pressure we were getting from our parents.
There was no pressure. It was already a Jewish home. That's all I needed, and it's certainly all my parents needed. He didn't have to do a ritual circumcision. Joseph decided to do that.
He got circumcised?
Yes.
Now that's commitment.
No doubt. That's a Jew right there.
For those who are already circumcised, it's a ritual that involves a pinprick in a very sensitive area. Why would you go through with something like that if you weren't that into it?
Because I loved my wife, and I wanted to see her happy, and I wanted to see her well, and I wanted to put us in a situation where being married to me wasn't problematic to her parents.
The idea that Joseph converted to Judaism to please your parents so they would accept him, fair?
Completely unfair. All that they wanted was for him to be good to me. and they didn't see him be good to me. Ella también está mirando la tele.
No matter whose story you believe, the marriage had become toxic, and the tensions were about to explode.
I was angry. I was angry that my fairy tale was dying.
Joseph was angry too. He began to suspect Rebecca was having an affair. He says she changed her cell phone account, seemed distant, and started wearing sexier clothes to work. According to court documents, he then found these emails, dozens of them, steamy, flirtatious messages between Rebecca and another man. "I want to feel you," she writes. "I want to hold you and stroke you. I'm dying to see you naked." Joseph says he didn't want this to end. You left him for somebody else.
There was no affair. I didn't leave him for anybody else. I left him because of who we were.
I think she was cheating, absolutely.
When you said, "I'm leaving, it's over," did he fight you?
I called him to let him know that Ayla and I were going to go to my parents' house, and he showed up the next day with the Skokie police saying that I had abducted his daughter. So I would say that no, he didn't accept my decision.
The battle had begun, and Joseph was losing early on. Rebecca got the home, the car, custody of their child. But then Joseph took it to another level. He sent Rebecca this email with pictures attached saying they were taken of our beautiful daughter on the day of her baptism.
It made me kind of sick that he would do something like that when I'm the custodial parent without talking to me.
Why do you think he did it?
In my most cynical moments, why did he do it? Because he knew that it would really hurt me. It really did.
Why did it hurt you?
Because I'm Jewish, because my daughter's Jewish, because my husband was Jewish. And I never want her to think that she has to choose between her mommy and her daddy, ever.